What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents. This story's called Entitled Mom Banned. Now, I work at Chick-fil-A, so I'm used to keeping a sweet smile on my face no matter the crazy or weird things people say or do when they come in to order food. We all take all sorts of Karens and crazy people, but this one made the biggest impression on me. So this particular guest came in fairly often for a time, and I have more than one story about this entitled mother. Now, maybe this doesn't really fit so well in r/EntitledParents, but this woman did try to use her kid as an excuse for her terrible behavior. I'll try to add in as many details as I can remember. If some things are a bit disjointed, I apologize, as it's actually been a year or so since I've been there, and also my ADHD brain gets a bit scattered. 1. So this might be the biggest one to show her oh so charming attitude. She was a woman, maybe in her 30s or 40s, and always had this angry expression on her face. She was hard to miss because her short haircut with brightly colored hair, bright neon blue, on just one side. It just made her stand out more, so she's easy for me to recognize, which, considering her attitude, is helpful to brace yourself. So this particular time, when she came in, I wasn't on register, so I watched as she went up to one of the sweetest people I work with. I'll call her Evelyn. Now, Evelyn takes her order and is her normal, super sweet, friendly, and helpful self. Now, this guest had a fairly normal order except for one item on her order, a chicken noodle soup with less broth and more noodles for her son. Now, we aren't really allowed to do this because it technically changed the recipe of the soup. However, sometimes we would make an exception like that one time for things like that, just for the guest, but tell them we couldn't do it again after that. Generally, people were understanding, but this woman was not one of them. Evelyn told her that we can't do that normally, but this time we could. Cue the mom screaming that we had to do it and acting in general super rude to Evelyn. It was bad enough another person I worked with, who was basically the work mom, came over to help Evelyn out. Now, work mom started saying the same thing, simply explaining that it wasn't normal practice to do the soup this way. The guest was having none of it and still went off on how we have always done it before, it shouldn't make a difference. By this point, we're waiting for her to finish so we can just give her her food. One of my awesome managers came over to try and defuse the situation and again explain the situation to this woman who was now demanding to speak to a manager. My awesome manager finally gets her to pay, saying he'll get the store manager since she's demanding that she does not want to speak to amazing manager about the issue anymore. It should also be noted that awesome manager is a saint when it comes to calming down angry guests and making the situation better. So awesome manager goes to get the store manager, who goes over to her table and then proceeds to listen to her go off about a soup for the next 45 minutes. Eventually, he calms her down enough that she stops throwing the tantrum. I couldn't hear what was said, but I could see her angrily speaking up to my store manager, and he finally calms her down and gives her one of our special stuffed cows for birthdays to her for free for her son, gives her coupons for free food, and gave her the soup for free. Now, the whole time that was going on, the other people I worked with were trying to steal glances at what was going on or asking me if I knew. All I could tell them was when she was still talking to poor store manager and that she had a kid, which made us all feel bad for the kid. He looked about 7 or 8 and comment how much future therapy he would need. Now, that's the first one, and not much, but it shows her attitude. Number 2. Now, this one shows a little more of her attitude. She came in and this time was acting all sugar sweet, and it honestly terrified me more than her going off in one of her normal explosions of attitude about soup. This time, she told me her son had severe autism, and the reason she always asked for less noodles and no broth was she didn't want him to freak out because it was different one time compared to another. Now, other times I would be more believing of something like that, but I had actually spoken to her son, and he was one of the most well-mannered, polite, and clear-spoken kids I had ever seen. Basically, the complete opposite of his terrifying mother. When she claimed that her son had such severe autism, I somehow kept my tongue, but made note of it just to hold on to for future use if she threw another fit in the future. 3. Which leads us to this final one, and thankfully the last time I saw entitled mother. I was working on one of my rare night shifts and saw her and her poor kid coming in after I noticed her park her large red van in one of the closest spots to the door. The only reason I noticed this is I saw her come flying around the building and park suddenly. It wasn't totally out of the ordinary since, for some unknown reason, the postage stamp-sized parking lot is often treated like a racetrack. She comes in with her son, whom I noticed has a slight black eye around his right eye. I don't want to immediately think his crazy mother struck him since he was an energetic young boy and things can happen. However, I did keep an eye on them to see if anything else happened. I watched her take her son up to the empty line to order her food and go up and order her normal order. She and her son went and sat down, and I saw halfway through her meal, her cute little boy went up to the front to ask for something. I was currently busy and unable to help him, so the only other person around was one of the nighttime managers, Alexa. Now, Alexa is another incredibly sweet person with multiple siblings and is really great with kids. She was currently holding at least 3 drawers of money that go into the registers that she was trying to put into the safe. Now, she looked up and sweetly said, "I'll be right with you," to which he just nodded and patiently waited for her. In less than 5 minutes, she turned to him and he asked for 2 barbecue sauces, which she immediately gave him and asked if he needed anything else. He shook his head and went back to his mom. About 10 minutes later, she stormed up to the counter, demanding to speak to a manager. Alexa went over, ready to help this woman with whatever she needed fixing. Entitled mother went off on Alexa, personally saying, "My son was waiting for 15 minutes and you literally ignored him." "No, I wasn't. I couldn't take care of him right away because I had drawers in my hands I needed to put in the safe." "No, you intentionally ignored him." "I never meant for it to seem like I was ignoring him." Now, poor Alexa looked like she was about to be in tears, and I was about to get involved myself, hating seeing her so upset at this hateful woman's words. Then she said it. The most disgusting thing I have ever heard anyone say to someone I worked with in my nearly 4 years of working there. "My son is more of a person than you are." That was it. Alexa burst into tears as she was inches away from Alexa's face, ready to unload more on poor Alexa when one of my amazing managers, Amazing Manager 2, who is honestly terrifying when she's angry, who had been hearing what was going on, headed straight for her. Entitled mother saw her and went white as a sheet and took off out the door with her son following behind her. Amazing Manager was also there that night and took Alexa back to talk to comfort her, and Amazing Manager 2 followed. Alexa was crying and looked totally broken. I hurried over and gave her a hug, and the managers told me that recently, Crazy Soup Lady was physically escorted out of another Chick-fil-A by one of our highest up managers and the owner's sister who walks with a cane. We were told that after the next time we saw her and recognized her to tell the first manager we saw, because from now on, we would refuse her service. Okay, this is kind of unrelated, but every time I said Alexa, my Amazon Alexa activated. Alright, back to the story. I personally had to deal with her yelling at me at least twice on separate occasions, but I'm pretty sure it was 3 times. One day she'd come in and be sugar sappy honey sweet, and the next be a barracuda and be out for blood. Now, this isn't much compared to the other stories I've heard, but I decided to share anyway. I believe this woman is now banned from 3 Chick-fil-A stores. Now, despite what people may think of Chick-fil-A, being banned from one is pretty big considering how much garbage we take from people on a daily basis, and yet manage to be as nice and kind as possible. I haven't seen her since, thankfully, and honestly, if I ever saw her in public, randomly, I would run the other way to avoid her. Entitled mother honestly seemed mentally unstable with her reactions to things and conversations I had with others I work with and things I overheard. We honestly wondered if she would call the cops on us sometimes if we so much as told her hyper son not to climb over the seats. I overheard her once fuming because a manager brought out her special soup and instead of responding like a normal person, snapped at the manager, "Why does a manager have to bring it out?" Glad we don't have to deal with her anymore. Hope you all get a chuckle out of this crazy woman. Hope her child does okay in life. I did once see a dad with the woman and the kid, but he didn't speak a word to either of them, and then left after being there for less than 15 minutes, so I never saw that much of it. Okay, yeah, this is very much correct. Getting banned from a Chick-fil-A is quite the feat, but getting banned from 3? How many people do you have to kill to do that? This story is called Stay up till 1:30 a.m.? Alright, here's some Chuck Norris jokes for ya. Context. My mom, grandma, and I stayed in an apartment-like place for the week as a mini vacation. There are 2 floors, the kitchen and living room on the top floor and 2 bedrooms on the bottom. I stayed on the couch on the top floor while Mom and Gma stayed in the 2 rooms. Last night, Mom decided to stay up and post crap on Facebook from like midnight to 1:30 a.m. with all the lights on. Story. Here's the cast. Me, Mom. It's 1 a.m. and Mom is just typing away, posting crap on Facebook and giggling every now and then at something. Mom, it's like 1 a.m. Are you going to bed? As soon as I'm done posting this for my women's ministry thing. You said that an hour ago. Just close your eyes. I sigh and roll over so my back is facing her. I should probably tell you that I have 3 phases of exhaustion if I'm awake this long. Phase 1, yawning and eye rubbing of the eyes. I've already passed phase 1. Phase 2, grumpy remarks and kinda rude. I just passed this phase. Phase 3, giggly and in a joke-telling mood. Science cannot explain the sudden change I had, and for some reason, I am in the mood for Chuck Norris jokes. Hey Mom. Yes, OP? Did you know that Chuck Norris can smell colors? Mom looks at me as if to ask if I'm okay, which I'm not. What? Yeah, Chuck Norris can pick an apple from an orange tree and make the best lemonade you've ever tasted. I'm, as Markiplier would call it, a giggly bench at this point. Are you done? Most people wear Superman pajamas, but Superman wears Chuck Norris pajamas. She kinda laughs and looks back to her computer and goes back to typing. Oh boy. Mom, Chuck Norris can hear sign language. If you're wondering where I got all these Chuck Norris jokes, I got them from a teacher who would have a daily Chuck Norris joke on the board every day. So I unleashed them all on my Facebook addicted mother. The time is now 1:25 a.m. and Mom still isn't in bed. Chuck Norris can kill 2 stones with 1 bird. OP, that's enough. I'm giggling like a schoolgirl whose crush said hi to her. Mom, when Chuck Norris falls in water, he doesn't get wet, the water gets Chuck Norris. There is no theory of evolution, just a list of creatures Chuck Norris allows to live. OP, go to sleep, I need to post this. Chuck Norris threw a grenade and killed 50 people. Then the grenade blew up. OP, I need to focus on this. I can't stop laughing at this point, and Mom is struggling to focus on Facebook. Death had a near Chuck Norris experience. Mom, once a cobra bit Chuck Norris's leg, after 5 days of excruciating pain, the cobra died! OP, go to sleep! Chuck Norris narrates Morgan Freeman's life. OP, are you okay? No. I have issues. Mom, Chuck Norris can kill your imaginary friends. Chuck Norris tells Simon what to do. It is now 1:30 a.m. when Mom closes her laptop. Are you proud of yourself? I couldn't post my women's ministry stuff because of you and Chuck Norris jokes. I literally can't take anyone or anything seriously because I'm too far gone into insanity and laughter. Hey Mom, Chuck Norris counted to infinity. Twice! OP, you need to sleep. If I was remotely sane, I would have probably thought to myself, you're just now realizing that, but alas, I'm too giggly and insane. Chuck Norris beat the sun at a staring contest. Mom getting a drink. OP, go to sleep. Chuck Norris is the only person who can punch a cyclops between the eye. Mom starts going downstairs to bed. Mom, the fear of Chuck Norris is called logic. I can hear my mom sigh in exasperation. After a little bit, I'm still a giggly bench and I creep downstairs and the light in my mom's room is still on. I try not to giggle as I'm thinking of the Chuck Norris joke in my head that I'll be telling my mom. I'm finally able to regain some of my composure as I open Mom's door. What now? First you interrupt me posting important stuff on Facebook, now this? OP, what is wrong with you? Chuck Norris can build a snowman out of rain in the desert. Oh my gosh, OP, go to bed! Just one more? Fine. Bill Gates lives in constant fear that Chuck Norris's PC will crash. Mom rolls eyes and shoos me away. It wasn't until a good 30 minutes of laughter and giggles that I eventually fell asleep. I know this story isn't as good as others on this subreddit, but oh well. I tried the Chuck Norris joke thing again tonight, and Mom was heading downstairs before I could get Chuck Norris out of my mouth, and I think I accidentally found repellent for my mom. Okay, that's a cute story and all, but me, I have phases of exhaustion too. First, I am absolutely dead tired and I can't do anything, and I just want to go to sleep, and then I'm wide awake and then can't sleep. Yes, that is correct. If you postpone my sleep long enough, I will be unable to go to sleep, but then again, I have hard sleep. This story is called Karen and Her Demon Destroy Library. I am a 14-year-old female. I volunteer at the library. It's not in anyone's job description to shelve the DVDs, so that's what volunteers do. All the crackheads go to the library, especially the DVD section. I have no idea why. I've never seen a wild Karen at my library before. As I'm shelving DVDs, I notice that some of them have been placed outside of the dividers. We have shelves with dividers that are easily moved. Some dividers are pushed to the last slot due to so many movies. Others are just in the middle. A 7-ish crotch goblin is sitting on the floor, popping open DVDs and putting other DVDs in the wrong cases. Our conversation goes like this. Please don't do that. But I want to play! You can't play with those. I grab the DVD out of his hand and he lets out the most terrifying scream of I've ever heard. Karen comes rushing over. What did you do to my baby? Library staff have glanced over. Give no craps. He's messing with the... Let him play. I'm gonna have you fired if you don't let him play. I don't even work here. Yes, you do. I call over the actual library staff. Shout out to our cart man. Helped me overcome my fear of getting the cart to put the DVDs on. I have severe anxiety. Cartman deals with this wonderfully and kindly tells them to get the frick out. Libraries are a wonderful thing, okay? Don't tell Leslie Nope I said that. Don't ruin them, okay? Don't ruin them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.